I'd assume Jesus would want to do it.
No,
That's true.
No?
He said
No,
thank you.
thank you.
Oh my
Okay, do you,
lord.
Honey?
No, thank you.
There we go.
I'd rather not talk today, to be honest.
Oh,
Brilliant.
she's very tired, bless her. Oh, poor little
Oh.
Sophie.
Diddums.
Well,
Cry me a river.
well,
Is that
well.
Mackie?
No, it's a milkshake.
Well, welcome to the Pacifist podcast. Thank you for joining us. Christ alive. It's good to be back again. Tonight we're doing Crime and Punishment. It started off just being sort of vintage Crime and Punishment. Now it's all Crime and Punishment. Or anything to do with, or not to do with, as the case may be. Full complement again. We've got me, Sam, Sophie and Jeeves.
Oh,
There we go. Yeah, so what should we start off with talking about what sort of spurred the idea in our heads to go with this sort of theme?
Definitely, because
We're
I want to
diving
hear the full
straight in, are
story.
we?
Yeah. Sophie, now's your time to shine.
Well,
Tell the
hey,
story.
It's not even my story. Okay, so on Christmas Eve, me and my partner were in a accident in B&Q car park.
Now, could you explain the accident? Was this just shitting yourself like last week, or was it something else? Were you pushing him along in a shopping trolley and it flipped over?
No, he was driving his van. He went to turn a corner and another car was coming out, and they basically corner to corner collided, as well as that was basically all I heard. As well as the passenger side smashing into like the islandy curby thing, basically buggering the van, as far as we know. So the van had to be left in the car park.
Can I just clarify here? The van was a write-off.
We don't know if it was a write-off,
but
because
you're pretty much writing it off.
We pretty much did.
Right. Can you just pass my congratulations on to Ian for his exemplary driving skills of managing to write off a vehicle in a B&Q car park?
I will.
Thank you.
He'll
Quite
be
impressive.
ever so proud.
I mean, I can't really talk because I had a 2-month driving ban for hitting a stationary fence post at about 1 mile an hour. So I'm going to reserve the piss taking that I really want to do.
I'm
and just let you continue.
Well, the thing is, though, Sam, I didn't know that
crashed into
story without you mentioning it, so you would have got away with it. You shot yourself in the foot there.
How did you not know
everybody
about
else
that?
knows.
No.
Yeah, I mean, clearly somebody doesn't watch the podcast anymore.
Just whenever Sam opens his mouth, it's just white noise.
How dare you? I like to think I sound like an old school modem.
Oh, dear. But anyway, we ended up having to leave the van in the car park, and where it's Christmas period, we couldn't get anybody to pick it up and tow it away. So it was the first Tuesday of this year.
Hang on, how fast was he going that it was that fucked you couldn't drive it home? Because, like, in my accident, it was very dented, but it still drove absolutely fine.
It was probably about 10 miles an hour. Because obviously he'd slowed right down to go around the corner. And he'd just come off a roundabout. But no, it's because of hitting the curb on one side and hitting the car on the other that it was just...
Sounds like a terrible driver.
It's his first accident. But so I had to leave the van there until we could get it picked up. But when Ian actually went back to meet the guys that were picking the van up, we found that the van was stood on blocks and all 4 wheels had been stolen.
That is brutal.
On the Isle of Wight, ladies and gentlemen.
And there you have it. The retro crime, if ever there was one.
The retro crime.
I mean, who steals wheels? Honestly, when I saw the post, I didn't hear all the story because you didn't put it up. You just put a picture of this beat up, shitty looking van on top of some logs, and that was it. I was just like, who the fuck does that?
You know the worst thing as well? We only had that van for 3 weeks.
Well, I would have said the worst thing was the fact that he crashed it after 3 weeks. But still, who steals wheels? It's fucking outrageous.
What got me was I said to you, didn't I? Like, oh, at least they left you a few bricks, like, so at least you got something useful. And you were like, they nicked them from B&Q.
Yeah, they actually went over to B&Q, the little trade point thing, and they were caught on CCTV pinching these bricks that our van ended up standing on.
Forgive my sound, people, but Mushu is fucking cooked, mate. It's fucking cooked. I can still hear you.
Yeah, for the benefit of, well, pretty much everyone apart from me, Sam's had a bit of a, well, you got quite passionate about it, really, didn't you, Sam? You got quite annoyed because I'll let you tell the story when you got home, but he's had a rice-related issue today.
About rice-related issue, Mushu. Do you know what's just happened, guys? Can you see this? Can you see that little blood? Is that visible to you guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Guess what's just happened?
You've managed to cut yourself on rice.
No, a cheese grater just fell out of my cupboard and grated me on the way down to the fucking drainer. I am a cretin today. Absolute cretin.
Oh,
Rice
dear.
banging though, mate.
Is this our first live podcast injury?
Yeah, I think it is. I mean, we
See,
probably should have put some spoilers in there for blood and stuff. I don't want people fainting on us, do we?
Well,
And I would
Sam will
put
have to
money
edit
on it
that
being
in.
Andy. I would have put money on it being you, Andy, the first accident.
Why would you say that?
Because you're the most accident-prone person I know.
because he's sat in a spinny chair, that's why we expected
yeah.
it to be you.
I prefer to think of it as I'm constantly fighting fate. In terms of fate wants me dead, I don't particularly want to be dead. Therefore, it's not accident prone. I'm actually very skillful at evading fate.
Oh, well, that is one way of looking at it, mate. Sorry about this, but this is looking fucking tidy. It's going to be a mukbang episode.
Well, yeah, I mean, ordinarily I'd have suggested a break, but I really want as much of this story in the podcast as possible because you were so angry about it earlier.
Oh, I was so angry. I'll tell it in a second once I'm back over and you can see me. But,
yeah, okay.
It's all right. Right, shut that shit back up. Stick some fucking cold ass meat on it. Don't be bleeding.
You do that.
Bleeding everywhere else.
So anyway, Sophie, your story, I believe it's all moving in the right direction now, hopefully, isn't it?
Yes, we're getting there.
So,
Are you getting the old Bill involved?
We did end up having to get them involved because being the Isle of Wight, we found out who stole the wheels within minutes of me taking it to Facebook.
Unbelievable. People are so dumb, aren't they? This is plaster, by the way.
The thing is, he posted it on Facebook that he'd taken the wheels as well.
Oh, you fucking what?
I
you
mean,
want
like,
to publicly name and shame him on the podcast?
I'm not going to. I'm not that much of a dick.
Why not? He clearly fucking is.
We'll put his name in the comments.
We'll tag him in it. Get all his friends.
Right.
Ridiculous.
So where do we go from here? We're at a tangent. Jeeves, why don't you? Do we want to follow up?
I want to know what's going on with this rice.
Oh, the rice. Sorry. Here, look. Can you see this?
Yeah,
I can
nice?
see that.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like 2 weeks ago, I bought a rice cooker. Maybe a week ago. Who knows? It's nice, actually. And I was dead excited to fucking use it because that's the kind of person I am. Got everything to make myself a nice, delicious dinner with a bit of rice. Go to the cupboard. I ain't got any fucking rice. Literally, I only had microwave rice, which sort of nullifies the point in having an actual rice cooker. Anyway, today, I'm like, I've got myself some rice and I have a nice dinner. I got home nice and early so I could have a nice dinner before I started this. Cooked myself some belly pork, which is now, incidentally, like pork scratchings. Put my rice on, did everything properly, read the manual, but I didn't read it properly. Anyway, I put it on. About half an hour goes by, and I'm like, I'm sort of expecting a little bit more from this rice cooker. The pork's done at this point. I turned that off and washed all that shit up and just left it on the side. And I read the manual and I was just like, is it meant to beep or click or do something when it's finished? And it's like, yeah, the light goes green. And I see it's a green light. And I'm like, motherfucker's been cooked for ages. I've like done bin runs and stuff, assuming it just ticked off. But no, that's the light that comes on when you turn the motherfucking thing on. You've got to switch it so it goes red and then it ticks on to green. So for 40 minutes, it just sat there just doing fucking nothing. Literally nothing. I was not fucking pleased. Really wasn't. But now it's done. It's fucking delicious. And thank you.
You see, what I like about this was when you were telling me that, you were clearly pissed off. You were very agitated about it. So I didn't want to take the piss too much. But now we're in public forum. I figure it's fine. And you're eating. So you didn't read the you read most of the instructions, but the one thing you didn't take away from it was the on button.
No.
So
I had it turned on. There was a green light on it, but like everything, I assumed green means go, red means stop.
You assumed you wouldn't have to touch anything. You just put the food in and it magically cooks. It's like the oven. You just put a load of shit in a bowl, put it in the oven, don't touch it, and then the oven magic happens and a cake pops out.
That's not far from the truth, Mushu. It's really not far from the truth. This is fucking nice. Before I've got,
Oh dear.
I thoroughly recommend getting a rice cooker. But I recommend reading the instructions properly.
And don't leave it open if you've got a cat.
I saw that video. Yeah,
video of that woman's cat just quite happily taking a shit into her rice cooker. Like, I mean, why not? I mean, it would give you a good steam down there while you're at it. It's like a sauna bidet.
Open the pores.
Oh, cats, man, they're the best and worst animal, aren't they? I mean, they're absolutely hilarious. For everybody else, a cat shitting in your nan's rice cooker is hilarious. For your nan, it's absolutely devastating.
Yeah.
Is that a clip that we can get on?
Do you know what? I say a clip. I just seem to remember seeing a photo of it.
Oh. Now you say it, maybe I saw a photo and I just animated it in my imagination. I do that. Yeah, because
if I caught a cat in my rice cooker,
I'd be so
wouldn't
happy.
Stay there filming it while it takes a shit in my fucking cooker.
No, push the fucking thing in, shut the lid. Who has the last laugh now?
And cooked cat. Do you know what? While I was waiting in that 1 hour when my rice wasn't actually fucking cooking, I watched nothing but rice cooker videos on YouTube. Oh my God. There's this recipe. Right. So sorry for tangents. We haven't barely even touched upon the subject, but this is too fucking good. Right. Everybody loves KFC, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
In a land of Oriental origin, I don't know which one. It could be China, could be Japan, could be somewhere else. It's become a tradition that on Christmas they have KFC. Don't know why.
Yeah, I've heard this.
Okay. Oh, great. Good. Someone back me up. Well, there's this recipe where you do your rice cooker shit, put your rice in there and your water, and your salt and seasoning and all those wonderful little things. And then you stick a bunch of cold KFC and cook it normally. And then once it's cooked, you shred the chicken like how you shred chicken. Looks fucking incredible. I can't wait to try that because I always order too much KFC. You know, like when you go to KFC, you're like, 10 pieces. That'll be fine. And that 2 pieces in, you're like, probably ordered a bit too much when there's 8 still sat there next to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm guilty of that. But then I'm also guilty of just, as soon as I've got the space to fit another bit of chicken in it goes. So I rarely have leftovers. I just sort of graze on it for the next few days.
Yeah,
hours.
What? Yeah, it's like, how much chicken are you ordering? Make a little with 97-piece bucket, please, boss.
Just rack up to the window, just all of it, please. What? All of it.
Yeah, like Ron Swanson, I'll have all of your bacon and eggs. Well, you might have misheard me. I didn't say a lot. I want all of it. That is definitely something to do if you were to win the lottery, isn't it? Just go to KFC and be like, I want all your chicken.
Yeah, just
Just all of it.
I mean, it wouldn't really serve any purpose, would it? All you'd do is like give everyone that works at KFC the afternoon off.
And piss off everyone else behind you in the drive-thru.
Yeah, you'd probably annoy a lot of locals as well. And you'd have a shit ton of chicken.
Yeah, but then when they're all there, like hungry little people, like, please, sir, can I have some of your chicken? You just start throwing it to the fucking seagulls. Nah, just take one bite, get the skin, and lob the rest away.
Just like have your mouth full. Oh, I'm a bit full actually, and just cram the rest into a skip. Oh well. That's a new kind of evil. That in itself deserves imprisonment or something.
Imprisonment. Okay. Crime and punishment.
Yeah.
What do you think should be? I was going to say a criminal offence that isn't. You know, like stuffing KFC into a bin when you've just ordered all of it. You literally just said it then. Is there anything that you think should be illegal that definitely isn't?
I think those people that that just hang around in busy pedestrian areas just hassling people for whatever reason, that shouldn't be allowed. That should be fucking illegal. Because you see them from a fucking mile away and they're coming towards you and you're like, oh, eyes down, just look busy, look like you're really important. Occasionally get your phone out.
That's the one.
Call or something like that. Still been stopped. So,
really?
Right, mate, how are you doing? The worst ones are the students who are like, I used to like the ones who are like, excuse me, can I have a minute of your time for a survey or something like that? Because straight to the point, right, you just after a little bit of time for a survey. Lovely. It's the ones that come up like, hey, man, I love your jeans. How you doing, mate? How you doing today? And all this. And I'm just like, straight away, I'm like, right, at the moment, you're just a very strange person approaching me. Give me a purpose. Give me a reason not to punch you and make it fast. But yeah, hate them. And I mean, to be honest, I have ended up on a date once through one of those people. But that was
prison date or court date. Sorry. No.
A sort of romantical date, but we're not going down that story because that, funnily enough, resulted in a McDonald's.
Wait, I want to hear the romantical date, Mushu. I mean, I bet everybody wants to know. Come on, who were the survey people? Was it RSPCA?
It's not happening.
The McDonald's story that I know.
Yes, and I can't say it. I can't say it.
I know this story. It's brilliant.
Mushu, what have we said about fucking private jokes? Come on, mate. People need to know. They hate this shit.
I'm going to give a very abridged version. I'm not going to go into any details or anything like that.
Perfect. Abridge that bitch.
Yeah.
And I'm going to eat rice while you do.
Well, basically, met this girl. Things went really well. She was lovely. We got to it. Things got a bit frisky. A sweat was drawn. Unfortunately, there was a touch. Hers was a touch odorous. Let's put it that way.
Scented, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Pheromones, I call those.
And fuck me, it smelt like Big Macs. Right?
Nice!
I know. Unfortunately, I was hungry. I was hungry. So, and I knew there was a 24-hour McDonald's just down the road in Moorgate. And that shit couldn't wait. So I stopped halfway through to go and get a quarter pounder with cheese. Now, I appreciate that makes me a pretty shitty person, but it was a good burger.
Well, did you get her a quarter pounder of cheese?
I didn't go back.
You didn't go back.
Mushu! I mean, if that does make you a shitty person, right, ladies, comment down below. You get with a beautiful stallion like Mushu. You're going at it hot and heavy. Unfortunately, in his case, I mean, in my case, I think it's fucking fantastic. Your body odor smells like a Big Mac. He's like, oh, baby cakes, I've got to stop this. You're making me hungry, and the wrong kind of hungry. He goes and gets a Big Mac and fucks off. That's bad, right? But if he was to be like old fast and he's back 15 minutes later with 2 quarter pounder cheese meals, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Not being funny, mate. I was pretty stuffed after having the McDonald's. I don't think I could have done anything.
You had to go sleep
anyway.
it off.
Yeah, well, you could have at least given her a courtesy double cheese.
Can I just say, firstly, please don't rally all the females against me. Right?
Females.
I'm aware it was a shitty action. All right, it was in the past. It's done and dusted. In
You
fact,
made it up to her since, though.
No, I never spoke to her since. I've never spoken to her since. And yeah, and
I wonder if
secondly,
she's one of our listeners. What's her name? Should we track her down so you can make a public
No.
apology?
no, we do not need to do that at all. She doesn't live in this country anyway, so it's fine.
Where's she from? Where that she smells like Big Mac? I want to know where people smell differently.
Uh,
I assume different species. Oh, species isn't right, is it? Different people from different continents. I assume they just have a different odor.
Well,
You know
it's
how
a certain,
like Chinese
it's a certain
people have different body features.
French-speaking country north of America. Put it that way.
Oh, Canadian then.
Yes.
I would have assumed.
You should have just said it, Andy.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm trying to be cryptic.
Is that why we've got one Canadian listener every week? She's just like, he fucking left me for a quarter pounder with cheese.
Well, the
And I
great thing
rub
is,
myself down in maple syrup like I all do, like we all do.
the incredible thing is, if it is her listening, she's just finding out the reason for me not going back now. All this time, she's probably been like, he probably got hit by a car or something, and I never got to say goodbye. Oh, and all this. And now she's like, oh no, he's doing a podcast. Maybe he's got amnesia or something like that. Nah, he went for a burger and didn't want to go back because he's a bit full.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. I feel like you bad human being. But it's funny. It does remind me of those dickheads who come up to you. Oh God, I've been like 17. There was this girl I really fancied at college. So ridiculously far out of my league. It was just evil. Look, I can't even remember her surname. So long ago. Anyway, we went shopping and she took this. Oh, do you know, this is the most annoying thing. When you fancy a girl and your friend zoned to the point where they're like, do you want to come and help me buy bikinis? Because I'm going on holiday. I was like, of course I fucking do. It's so like, oh, why wouldn't I? That's got to be the best sort of shopping ever. So I go and help her buy bikinis. Get stopped by Amnesty International, and it seemingly she was quite a good person. And I got suckered into fucking joining up to those bastards for 2 years just to try and impress this girl. I only stopped because it bounced once. Like, I didn't have any money in my account, and this money came out, and I'd have cancelled it before, but this was like pre-internet banking. And it didn't come out every month. It came out every 3 months. So it's sort of like you'd forget about it. And yeah, it went to come out. Didn't come out, and I got a 25 quid charge. And I was like, oh, fuck you and your prisons. Yeah, like 2 years worth of paying that shit. There was no payoff either. I'm sure you're all absolutely care to know. Oh, yeah.
But I'd love to know. I'd love to see the stats. I'd love to see the stats on the success rates for getting people to sign up by walking over and doing that. I mean, and I would assume that the majority of people sign up are in exactly the same situation where you were, Sam, where they've either got to do it because they're pressured into it. They either feel like they have to impress someone, they feel like a shitty person if they don't, or something like that. Mm-hmm. I'm quite happy now just walking along. Funnily enough, I was walking up Ryde High Street one good few years ago, and there was a Romanian guy, excuse me, selling the Big Issue. Right. Mm-hmm. I thought he said big shoes, right, when I walked past, and they were new shoes. And he was like, and as I walked past, he's like, big shoes. And I turned around and just went, fuck off, mate. And it felt so liberating that since then, that's kind of been my attitude towards anyone that stops me in the street. Just like outright rudeness. No, I'm here in my little personal bubble. You're invading my bubble. Therefore, my rudeness is a defense tactic to your invasion.
Yeah, well,
that way.
I mean,
so I didn't
in the current climate, nowadays, it's even better.
Well,
I've got a personal space story from work from yesterday. Do you want to hear it?
Go on then.
Okay, so I'm doing a collection. That's when we empty shit out of post boxes. Old people don't understand social distancing. They just don't. I see it in the newspapers and on the news, and they say young people don't understand it or can't do it. It's not the young people. They know what they're doing because they're strong and they don't give a fuck about catching bad flu. Old people, on the other hand, don't seem to get it at all. and it'll fucking kill them. Anyway, so I'm fucking emptying a postbox, and I'm an hour behind, and this old woman comes up to me with a birthday card. She's like, "Oh, can I give this to you?" And I was like, yeah, no problem. And I reach out, and I've got long arms, and she reaches out, and it's absolutely fine. But in that process, my PDA, the little computer thing that you always hear beeping, that falls out of my pocket and lands right by her feet. And she just stands there, and I'm like, it's really hard doing this job and trying to maintain social distancing. That literally said that to her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I can imagine." And I look down to the PDA, and then I look up to her, and she's just still stood there, just doing nothing. And I was like, "Yeah, really busy. I'd quite like to get that now." She's like, "Oh yeah, I can imagine. It must be an absolute nightmare." And I was like, "Yeah, it really is an absolute nightmare." And like, about 30 seconds goes by, and I say nothing. I'm just like, "Are you gonna let me get my shit then?" Seeming as you basically stood on top of it. And she turns around and she's like, "I'll just let you get back to your business then." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks for the fucking permission, you silly divvy old cunt. Get out of the fucking way. I need this shit. I got work to do." I was like, "I'm only trying to stay away from you because you'll probably fucking die." And I had a COVID test this week as well. She came back, so I knew I was clean. No, not riddled. That, people, it's horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible.
Is that the up the nose one?
Is that you got to get your tonsils. So, quick round of applause for all the ladies out there. Because I can't fucking do what you girls have been able to do for a long, long time. It was ridiculous. I was there in my car using my phone as a mirror, literally like, like just touching. You got to have them on there for like 10 seconds. Yeah, it was horrible. And then
isn't it just like a little a really long cotton bud as well?
Yeah, it's like a cotton bud about that long, and you've got to literally touch your tonsils. Yeah, you got to touch each tonsil for 10 seconds, and I'm like, the whole time just like trying not to vom in my car because you do it yourself. And then you read the thing, and you've got to take this janky thing that you've just been rubbing on your tonsils and shove it up your fucking nose until you meet resistance. That's what it says in the manual. Okay. So I've got this soggy tonsil covered shitty cotton bud that's about 1 meter long, and I stick it up my nose, and I can't take drugs up my nose. I can't take anything up my nose because it makes me sneeze. And I think I've done quite well in avoiding sneezing on this podcast. One day it'll happen, and when it does, I'll loop it so you can all laugh at me. But yeah, my nose is like my Achilles heel, if you will. And yeah, and it's like until you meet resistance. So I'm putting it up, and I'm not getting any fucking resistance. And then I feel it back here, literally in my air hole behind my dingly dangly bit in the back of my throat. I was like, ah. It's like pulling it straight out like this, and like, stab it off and stick it in the fucking thing. It was like that was the most violated I feel like I've ever been, and I had to do it to myself. It was fucking awful. Yeah. So note to that, people: face, space, place. What's the other one? Cover your face, keep some space, stay in place,
and if not, use mace.
I should have used that little old differy bird, shouldn't I?
Definitely should.
Yeah, I mean, avoid it because that fucking test is grim. It's worth following those rules just so you don't have to fucking have your nose fucked by a cotton bud.
I'll try anything once.
Well,
so have we got anyone else got anything they think that should be made illegal with immediate effect?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
but I've just talked quite a lot, and I want to eat some of this before it goes cold. What with the fact I spent 2 hours cooking it.
You got any suggestions?
Why do you make me think on the spot in these things?
It's fun hearing the cogs
hard.
turn.
It's hard. That's what it is.
Come on, then.
Off the top of my head, no.
Jesus is perfectly happy with the legal system in this country. He's like,
the only thing I would want harsher on is animal cruelty.
Fuck off.
Harsher fucking punishment for animal cruelty.
What? We can't even go fox hunting anymore. There's no dog fights anymore. We can't get a cockfight for love nor money.
You can get a cockfight. You're just going to the wrong places. Right. So you're just all about adjusting penalties rather than making new things illegal.
Yeah.
Really?
To be fair, I think the crimes and everything that are committed at the moment, they need to be more severe than what they are to be cleaned up before we start actioning other stuff.
I think they should switch the penalty system on the British roadways from speed to ability.
Yes, so, Mushu, I was about to say that.
Rather than get a ticket for going 90 mile an hour in a 70 zone, you get tickets for things like not indicating at roundabouts, not checking lanes before you hogging the middle lane of the motorway, things like this. Yeah, that's what you get ticketed for. That way, everyone drives fast, everyone gets where they want to go, but they fucking do it properly.
I'm literally praying to the Church of Mushu there. I am so on board with all of that. I mean,
so you're on about having like a British version of the Autobahn?
No, the Autobahn is a separate entity, but our speed limits were introduced before things like ABS and power steering and cars getting good. You know, like actually having grip on your tyres wasn't such an issue back when tyres were this thin. All of the advancements in the car trade, come on, Chief, give me the words. This is your area.
In the automotive world.
Thank you. Yeah. All of those advancements haven't been taken into consideration when it comes to roads and speed limits and penalties and all of that. But
the speed limits are more to do with the people on the outside of the car, not the people on the inside.
People shouldn't be on motorways.
Well, no, but not on motorways. But like if you was to do 60 in a 30 and a kid walks out, you're killing him.
Well, yeah. I mean, I should fucking hope so. If I'm doing 60, I'm probably trying to kill him, aren't I? No?
No.
Mushu, and I can't speak for you, but I'm sure you don't mean increasing the 20 mile an hour school lane limits up to 50.
No.
Yeah, it's sensible stuff here.
But I mean, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, but I went to Iceland.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah, I did. It was
Did you
lovely.
go to that lagoon place?
I did. Yeah, I floated in the blue lagoon like a massive dead whale. Yeah. No, but over there, the police, they, as far as the road laws go, there are speed limits, but the police don't really seem to give a fuck about it. Everyone goes however fast they do. What the police do give a shit about is people that drive like dickheads. You know, like dangerous overtaking, shit like that. And they fine them depending on their income, on their wage.
That's pretty good as well.
Rather than get like a £300 fine, they'll get like a 10% fine. So you get 10% of your monthly wage or something like that, regardless of what it is or your monthly income. So billionaires end up paying thousands and thousands and thousands. People on the dole end up paying a couple of quid.
Is it them that currently have the most expensive speeding ticket in the world? Because a matey was speeding in his sports car, and then because they do it from the percentage of his earnings, it was like his speeding ticket was something like nearly £500,000.
Yeah, but that's great. You know, it's like this thing where you find footballers and stuff like that. Like, footballer's been naughty, we're going to fine them like £5,000. Well, they're not even going to fucking know that.
Yeah.
You know, they'd probably pay someone more than that to fucking clean their boots. I don't know.
I'm completely on board with that as well. That feels means tested fines seems like a good one. I mean, in this country, chances are people would just take the piss. They'd be on the dole and they'd be like, "Oh, my income's £300 a month," and then they keep on doing the crimes.
Yeah.
But I presume if you're a repeat offender, then the punishments become harsher and more than just a fine.
They've still got like the 3 strikes and you're out or whatever, or the point system on the license. So you get your points along with the fine, and then you get a certain amount of points, and boom, there goes your license.
Fair enough.
I wonder if they increase the percentage in it as well each time. It's like 10%, 30%, like 10, 20, 30%.
That would be a good idea, yeah.
That is not a bad shout.
Fine.
Yeah, this is your 10th time.
I'm very lucky, actually, that I didn't get caught, because I did not get the hang of roundabouts out there. Because everything's back to front, isn't it?
Ooh.
And there's me just like, fuck it, and my missus at the time was just sitting there screaming at me, "I'm fucking from the right!" What? Yeah, but I didn't die. I didn't get fined, so it's all good.
Do you think
so
drivers
weird.
as well past a certain age should retake their test every few years or so?
I agree. It should be
Yeah.
free though. I don't think it should be a
No,
chargeable
yeah,
thing.
at that age, yeah, it should be free.
Yeah. Honestly, there's so much. I also think insurance companies are criminal in every way, shape, and form. You think about paying how many thousands of pounds have you spent out on car insurance? I feel like you should get that fucking money back. I mean, if you don't have an accident in 10 years and you've paid them, well, I paid $2,300 for my first year's car insurance. I mean, I hit a fence post in my work van, but other than that, I've had no accidents at all. So I've probably paid them over 10 grand. I think that money should come back.
Yeah.
But
then that's how insurance works, isn't it? It's a gamble, isn't it? It's like,
well,
you pay us a lot of money and hopefully we'll keep the money, but we might have to pay the money back to you if you ever have a problem.
Yeah.
But you legally have to pay somebody for insurance.
Well, yeah, and where it's a legal thing, I don't think it should be private companies. I think it should be the government. It should be, I mean, as it's a law, you pay the DVLA for your driving license, don't you?
Yeah.
Anyway, we're going off on a proper little side tangent there. I don't want to start moaning about fucking car insurance because I think that there should be on-the-spot fines for those dickheads who walk through town centres holding a fucking mini speaker, blaring their music out. Is it so hard to have fucking headphones? I feel like you should get an anti-social. What is it ASBOs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they got rid of the ASBO. I thought they've changed it.
Bring them bastards back, because I think that it should be a crime when you're walking along listening to music like that. It's unless you've got a dog suit on and a massive vintage tape deck, like in that Daft Punk video. You know unless you are literally in that full get-up, I don't think you should be allowed to walk around with your mini speaker blaring music because nobody fucking cares. I've never once heard music from a mini speaker that was good. It's always shit 15-year-olds like, which is like mumble rap and you can't hear anything.
Or the other exception I'd like to add to that is if you're a group of young black males from the hood who are all wearing neon sweatbands with their buzz cuts and Ray-Bans from the 80s and stuff like that, and you've got an old school ghetto blaster, then you're allowed to. Especially if you're hanging around on a basketball court. That's fine.
Basketball court, I'm surprisingly okay with. And I think in the street, I'm okay with it if there's a piece of cardboard on the floor and people are breakdancing.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah.
Just casually walking through Tesco with your fucking speaker, holding it, because you're always holding it up here as well, like it's some sort of cherished item, so like something for people to worship. And you're like, it's just a shitty, cheap-ass speaker, man. Nobody cares about your fucking mumble rap. It's dreadful.
See, this is where we need old people fighting back.
I do this, mate. I'm like, turn your fucking music off. It's crap and no one cares.
No, we want old people lugging around their gramophones, playing Moonlight Sonata and stuff like that.
Winding it up.
Bit of Mozart, yeah. How'd you like that, whippersnapper?
Yeah. Well, Frankie's got a proper voice on him.
I
and a
can't
massive
wait to be
dick
an old
from
person.
what I've heard. You are an old person, Mushu.
Older. An old person.
Oh. Have I upset him?
I need something to lighten my mood. Do you know what I need?
What?
I think I need one of our new features.
Which one?
Should we do some videos?
Yeah, let's do videos. I love these features.
Feature. Well, pacifist pick. Yeah. Right. So let's crack on. I would like to kick this off with my humble offering, if I could. Bearing in mind we're on a sort of crime and punishment. I by accident fitted the theme. So you've probably seen this already, but it's great. It does play a few times as well because it happens very quickly. So I'll let it play a couple of times. That is how you do
Brilliant.
Yeah. Fucking straight down.
Oh, that's brilliant.
He doesn't even care. He just goes straight for it.
That's
it's like
so casual.
He's got a machete as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's big.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
zero
obviously Africa, isn't
fucks.
But like all the rest of them are like, I don't know. He's got a big knife. He's just like, oh, fuck this. Like, I don't know, refs in half an hour or something like that. You know,
I was going to say,
dinner.
I bet he finished his shift in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
He's all right, let's get this done.
Zero time for this bullshit.
That was awesome. What a nice little ninja throw that was.
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
But I don't know. Do you reckon he's going to get back to the Nick and they'll all be like, oh my God, that was the best thing I've ever seen? Or do you reckon, I get the impression it's just like all in a day's work for them?
Yeah, I was going to say, in this country, we call like the special gun service out, don't we? And they bring weapons out and they're just sort of like, whoa. Stay over there. We've got to get our mates with the guns in.
I don't think anyone's supposed to know about the special gun service. They're a highly secretive organisation, mate.
Yeah, I mean, that's the technical name for it. Sorry, what can I say? Do the research. The Special Gun Service, SGS. Yeah.
So,
I love that.
Well, it got us off to someone.
It's just my watch.
All right. Yeah, so we started off on topic. Now, Sam.
The first one.
To the first one.
Watch closely. It's only a short video. I should just explain that, again, I've gone down the nature approach because animals are amazing. But yeah, it's what, 20, 30 seconds long, if that?
Something like that. All I can say is I've only seen the title, and Sam, you need help, mate.
God.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. I didn't know such a thing could happen. Look at a little horsey. Yeah, there we go. Little chicken. And he got eaten. Did you know that horses can eat chicken? Dear, eating a bird.
No, we're not going down rabbit holes. How do I turn this off?
Have you ever seen a horse eat a chicken? I thought they just lived off of grass and fucking sugar lumps. It turns out those motherfuckers will eat anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, I thought they were herbivores.
To be fair, I was expecting it to spit it out when it realised what it was.
I
was like, hang on, this isn't hay.
I was expecting the chicken to come out after it or something.
Yeah, Mama Chicken looked pissed off, didn't she? She was not happy. She's like, ah!
I can imagine I'd be a bit fucking miffed if one of my kids got eaten by a horse.
I mean, I don't really like horses. I think they're a bit too big. I like small horses. Small horses are amazing, but big ones
are the vicious
are just like,
ones.
What, the small ones?
Yeah.
Are they? There's
Have
loads
you ever been round
where
a
I
Shetland
live.
pony?
Well, I mean,
they
like, I've
bite.
not had a drink in a pub with one, but I've seen them. They're everywhere. All my neighbours have horses, just little ones with really hairy feet.
I think it's
brilliant.
It raises quite an interesting question, though, doesn't it? That video is like, are all these animals that we put down as herbivores just herbivores because they've not actually tried chicken yet?
He has. He fucking wolfed it right down, didn't he?
I'll tell you what, when you go to KFC and buy all of the chicken, you can just go and find different animals and be like, do you like chicken? And you try
it's
it.
It's not the same.
You?
God, put it back on. It goes in one. It goes in whole. I mean, you look at it properly.
The chick's quite a bit smaller than the horse.
It's just like as casual as fuck. He's just having a sniff around. He's like, oh, fuck it. It's so fucking brilliant. Have you not seen this one before then? Just look at it. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, back down to 3. It's just straight in. It's so fucking
you see
ridiculous.
It chewing and everything.
Yeah. He goes back to his grain. He's like, that was a meaty bit of grain.
Yeah. I mean, like I say, Sam, I'd stand by it. You need help, bro.
It's next nature.
As I said last week, I get the feeling this feature is just going to be who can be upset Sophie the most.
Be upset the most.
That was good speak, Sophie. Well done.
You learned the wicked English as a children.
Very good England speak.
I come from Isle of Wight.
Right, so whilst we're on the subject, Sophie, you've actually submitted a video this week. Thank you very much, and it's very along your sort of lines.
I creased up at it. I remember the first time I watched it.
I've seen this before, but I love it anyway.
Please be a chicken eating a horse. Come on.
Right,
please.
Sam, prepare yourself for a disappointment.
Oh, really? I'm probably going to love it. She always sends me videos I like. Oh, I've seen this. This is so good.
Oh, yes.
I haven't seen this in years.
I mean, that's fancy, isn't it?
That's me, that is. That long-haired guy. I could do that.
Yeah, and I'm the other guy.
That's pretty fancy. I'd look at him. Everyone loves him because he can do all that sort of shit.
Yeah. Showboaty little fucker.
The obligatory matey in an orange t-shirt. That's it. Fuck yourself for goods.
Yeah, look at me.
This is what you're in for, bad boy.
Boom! Hey! So good.
Just
so
perfect.
Good. I love it.
It's like, have you seen that movie? I think it's called Warrior, with the two brothers, and they go to like a UFC championship. I think one of them's a Hemsworth or
Tom Hardy.
Hardy, that's it. And yeah, in his first sight, he just walks up, he's like, boom, and just goes out like a cow. I fucking love that.
When I found out, I did start watching like all these knockouts and stuff, but they're like 3-4 minute videos, so obviously I couldn't use them. But I just love watching knockout videos and people being cocky and just having it.
That's the best one when there's a little bit of cockiness beforehand, and they're just sort of laying it on thick. I can't get enough of that.
My favourite UFC clip is where the guys go into the octagon and they both punch each other at the same time and knock each other out in 8 seconds.
Fucking brilliant.
Double knockout, 8 seconds.
I did have a double KO video, but again, that was like a minute and a half. I was like, I'll keep it short.
I mean, a minute and a half's fine. We've got fast forwarding facilities, haven't we?
We all know how to use fast forward, yeah.
I never know with you guys.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to expect too much of you.
How rude. I mean, we shouldn't expect anything from you. It's a surprise, a happy surprise that you
there we go.
got us one.
Speaking of low expectations, Jeeves. Yes.
Right.
Do you want to...
Mine.
Yeah.
Mine, pimple pop.
Right. It's an animal one, but it's an animated one. Right.
Okay.
And I picked it's my favourite clip from a section. Right. So you need... it's better if you watch the whole thing, but this is my favourite section of that clip.
Right.
Okay, everybody. It's not been built up too much.
No.
So don't laugh.
What the fuck?
What?
What the fuck is this, James?
What? Look at his face. Oh, shit.
Oh shit, man!
Oh no!
Is this what you do?
I saw that. There's a whole video, right? It's some of them are about 4 or 5 minutes long, and it's just full of them and stuff like that.
What if animals were round? What a great title! Oh my god!
Oh fuck! I just thought, I don't know how you got to that. How did you find that?
I actually found that about 4 or 5 years ago, and when you said about doing the feature, that was the first video that popped into my head.
Oh, amazing! That's mental, but it shows how fucked up the world is. That there are too many people with too much time on their hands. That some guy was like, "What if a cheetah was round? Oh, fuck it. What if all animals were round? I'm gonna make a video."
If that chick was round, it probably wouldn't have gotten eaten by a horse.
Well, he ain't getting around anymore.
There's actually about 4 or 5 of those videos as well, all different animals and everything like that. They are quite funny to watch.
I bet.
I might actually check the rest of that video out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, and then finally, Sam, because you had so little faith in the other two, you sent me a second one.
It's true, but this is old. Everyone should have seen this. And this was sort of on theme with crime and punishment. That sometimes crimes and punishments go along at the exact same time. And I don't think you need a punishment, because in doing the crime, you get punished by, Mother Nature, karma.
Yeah, and
I was going to say instant karma.
Instant karma.
this involves my favourite subspecies of human, the chav.
Exactly. I think that we've all seen this.
Oh yes.
Filmed on potato.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go on. Go on.
Do it
Kick
again.
it. Ah! Wanker.
I've not seen that one before.
He
I
wasn't
wanna watch
prepared
this
for
next
that,
one.
was he?
Expecting his leg to go through and like hit his bollocks on the lower plank or something.
Oh, you've not seen that?
No.
Oh, it's a classic. I love it. It's back when I think that came out around roughly when happy slapping was a thing.
Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah.
right. Yeah, it's just great, isn't it? Instant karma again.
Yeah.
So good because you start it off thinking, oh, you little fuckers, and everyone knows them. Everyone knows
Yeah.
their local little fuckers, and then like it just goes. As soon as he puts that through, you're like, oh, beautiful physics has come to the rescue. Look,
Yeah.
physics
like,
man.
Maybe you shouldn't have skived off that science lesson then, should you, dickhead? I mean, it's just fantastic. Could you imagine being the old Bill who turns up with the ambulance because he's got a fucked up ankle because it goes so flat as well. I mean, it's not like, I mean, he's probably got skinny little ankles because they're usually little rats, aren't they? But it doesn't look the right width. He's just basically cut his fucking foot off. You imagine that? You turn up and you're just like, twat.
Disproportionate is the word I'd use. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. I'm all full up now. I've got all stupid.
Like that round cheetah.
That's me at the moment. Yeah, I'm all just round and sleeping. But yeah, how fucking good was that? I like that. It's also set my mind racing of other clips and videos that I want to share. I can't think of any more animals getting eaten by stuff though. You're lucky, Sophie.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, I can actually.
Oh,
Watch this space, people, next week.
I think it says more about your state of mind than anyone else's, Sam.
It's just nature, isn't it? Nature's a wonderful thing. It doesn't all have to be cats pushing glasses off of tables. Sometimes I just want to see a horse eat a chicken. And chickens are vicious little fuckers anyway. I mean, they're not exactly nice, are they? They're like mini dinosaurs.
Are they?
Oh.
They're
don't
not
get Jesus started on dinosaurs.
Jesus. Why don't we want to get Jesus started on dinosaurs, please? Oh, actually, I realise. Yes.
Penny drops.
Yeah, sorry, you're talking about Ark, aren't you?
To be fair, it is a good game.
No.
It's a
I
game.
prefer the mobile version of it though.
I mean, it's all right. It's just a bit much. It takes too long to do everything. Ark, in case you're wondering, is one of those building games where you start with just a pair of pants, and then you pick up a stick and a bit of grass and a rock, and you make an axe, and then you eventually keep building
gun
shit
out of a turtle shell.
Yeah,
and infuse it with lavender scent so it flies. Yeah, it makes no sense.
It gives you sweet dreams.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. Moving straight away from that.
Moving as fast as we possibly can. I want to bring up on the crime and punishment theme, ancient laws and stuff like that.
Nice.
All the old stuff, because I don't think it's been mentioned here, but I used to be a policeman.
What?
I know.
These revelations. And you've been to Iceland.
I know.
Lagoon.
Next thing you're going to tell me is that at one point it used to be a butcher or something crazy like that.
Hold your fucking horses, Sam.
What's that?
Yeah, but I used to get festooned with people approaching me with all the, oh mate, is it true that? And you had the funny ones like, does your head go to the top of that hat and stuff like that? Just like
yours did.
Yeah, we've got photos.
Dickheads, what a big bunch of dickheads. Yeah, but there's like the ones like the pregnant woman. I've been asked by a pregnant woman if she can wear my hat. To which the answer was a fuck hard no. No, you piss in my hat, I'm hitting you with my truncheon, pregnant or not.
But they're allowed to, though, aren't they? No, it's a law.
This is the thing. This is what I was going to say. Like any old laws and stuff like that, because yes, technically it's just never been repealed, has it? But
yeah,
there's so many other laws now which supersede it. It still would be against the law, if you know what I mean.
Oh.
So there's
Well,
no real argument in court.
I only know one of these. Well, it was two, the pregnant women pissing in a helmet. The only other one I know, I believe, is that an English person is allowed to shoot a Welsh person with a longbow as long as it's done in some particular church or cathedral. However, you're not allowed to do it unless you've literally been practicing with your longbow and there's evidence of it every single day. I cannot fathom where that fucking law has come from. I mean, where's that? The Welsh people are lovely, brilliant singing voices, amazing miners.
I mean,
They vote weirdly.
It's obviously going to be a medieval thing, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's specifically with a longbow.
And everyone hates their neighbours, don't they? I mean,
well, yeah.
If you happen to have an army at your disposal, the odd arrow goes flying over every now and then. It's probably just a practice thing, isn't it? Like, it's like an encouragement thing, like if you practice hard with your longbow, eventually you'll be able to shoot a Welshman. And that's what you grow up thinking, like, oh, I can't wait to slot me one of those Welsh fellas. Oh yeah, practice every day.
Sing us a tune.
Yeah, I mean, there's others, like you're not allowed to beat a rug, your rug in front of the gates of Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, that one I knew about.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I remember
Why would you?
a video of this matey.
The blonde matey.
He broke like 9 old laws.
That's
to
it.
See
yeah.
But he did it in front of like police and whatnot to see if they'd actually do anything. And
yeah, because wasn't there one like it was illegal to sing a song whilst wearing an outrageous collar in front of a policeman or something?
Yeah, so he wore one of those collars that were like out here.
Like a ruff.
Yeah,
the big thing.
Yeah. Like a dog cone, but flat. One of those. Ones.
The one that I liked on that is when he's beating the carpet outside the palace and everything like that, and the corporal comes up to him, he's like, "Are you all right?"
Yeah.
have I got to put your section you here?
Oh, that's amazing. I didn't know that was illegal. Also, I don't think I've ever beaten a rug. Have you? I mean, I've got a Hoover. Just give it a quick Hoover.
I don't have a rug, so...
It doesn't surprise me. I imagine you live in a barn with that horse, a carnivorous horse that's just eating chickens.
I would have gone after the chicken. I'd be like, no.
Oh, fuck it. It was gone so bloody quick, you would have had a chance.
I can move quick if I have to.
Not that quick. I've never seen anything like it. That's like me when I'm really hungry and I'm in KFC. Just
you love it, don't you? You're just astounded by that whole process.
Honestly, it just amazes me, like shit like that can happen. How dumb must that horse be? It's just eating a little bit of hay and it's just like, oh.
I wonder if it had any effect on it. Like if it was like super energetic or something.
Grew wings.
Horses out in fields are known to eat poo bags. Like dog walkers, when they pick up their dog poo, they'll bag it up, they'll throw it into the field. But because of
sorry, but what is the fucking point in picking up a dog's turd in a plastic bag and then lobbing it away? And surely it's better to just leave it on the fucking floor.
That should be illegal.
Yeah.
That should be fucking very illegal. I
completely agree. It used to be... No, go on, Sophie.
Yeah, one of my friends actually had to have their horse put down because, it developed breathing problems, and for some unknown reason. So then they did like an autopsy?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like kind of open to try and find out, and it had 3 bags of dog poo in its stomach and like along the whole digestive system. But
that's absolutely gross.
Because of the colour of the bags, like in the sun and in the wind and that, like, it attracts the horses or something.
Well, they think it's a chicken.
I think it's a nice crunchy chick like in Fable.
Yeah, I mean, what gets me is we've got this. I don't know if it's an island habit or whatever, but I've noticed it like out walking before. People will pick up their dog shit in a poo bag, tighten a knot, and then rather than fling it, they'll hang it on a tree.
Poo balls,
or on a fence.
I love that. Christmas trees. It's like poo balls.
Yeah, and I don't get how these start. I mean, specific trees picked, because it's not all the trees. Like some trees just have more poo baubles than others.
I think Radio 1 have a lot to do with that because they mentioned it like a decade ago quite a lot. It was quite a feature on it. The only reason I know about it is because I heard about it on the radio over the course of a couple of years. And they're like,
I'm glad it's not just an island thing then. That's good.
Nah, it's global.
I mean, what's wrong with poo bins?
Well, this is what I was going to say, is when I was a kid, it was always, it said specifically on there, like, pick up your dog shit. There's a £500 fine for dogs fouling. I don't see those signs anymore. I mean, I don't have a dog, so I don't particularly go looking, and I don't have a dog because I don't want to pick up its shit. But
the problem is nobody cares.
I fucking care. Fucking do my own at Christmas.
It's a
Who gives out the
£1,000
fines?
fine now.
Oh, is that £1,000?
Yeah.
Fucking. I mean, I wonder when that was last enforced.
Yeah, that's it. I mean,
when I lived in Ventnor, our back road, people used to walk their dogs up there all the time, and the amount of dog shit up there was fucking horrific. So we actually got one of the council signs put on our fence on the back leading onto the back road.
I bet you did.
And it said on there it was £1,000 fine.
Did it stop the dog shit?
Mate.
Actually, surprisingly, yes.
Oh, well,
not all of it.
Insane.
Not all
Absolute
of it.
Psychopath.
But it did actually stop a lot of it.
Well,
So
that's
what
good.
do you guys think about horse riders letting their horses shit in the middle of the road?
I'm not a big fan of it.
Leaving it.
Truth be
Because
told.
I understand it's a little bit harder to pick up a horse's shit
Yeah,
when you're out
bin bags
riding.
with you.
But at
And
the
a
same
massive
time,
shovel.
you can go back and pick it up
Yeah,
after you're done.
all you need is
I
a
don't
little
know.
attention tool.
Like in the middle of the road, there's just no need for it.
No, I mean,
I don't
think-
want that stuck in my tyres.
what annoys me is the fact that, like, an argument that I hear quite a lot for that is like, oh, it's all organic.
It's really good for my garden.
My shit's organic. You don't want that in the middle of the road, you know?
I think the problem is that it's in the road and it's not on footpaths, is it? It's not like if people are walking in the middle of the road. Now I know you've got a lot of country lanes, so quite often if you're going to walk any considerable distance, you're going to have to walk in a road, but it isn't usually on a footpath, is it?
Mm.
But
then I think the shit scale comes into this as well. Like that David Mitchell brought up. Like there's a scale of shit, and
do elaborate.
Everything has its own place on it. So for instance, he said like horse is better than dog, because nobody wants to put dog shit on their roses.
Very true.
Baby shit is probably the most pleasant of all excrements, according to him. In terms of human excrement, he's like the baby shit is probably the nicest to clean up when they're newborn, if you know what I mean. And yeah, he just said every type of shit has its own place. Like I don't particularly like cow pats, but I don't mind them.
But they stay in the cow fields, funnily enough.
Well, most poo stays where it is, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is with horses,
Not all, though.
It
Dung
doesn't stay
beetles.
in the horse field, does it?
Well, that's true. No, that's more the horse. Well, yeah.
I don't really give a shit about horse crap being in the road because it's on my tyres and I'll drive and it'll be gone soon enough. I mean, mud is more annoying. It's not like it splashes on my car. But I don't really like horse riders on the roads. I mean, for me, them being on the roads is more of an issue because I'm quite courteous when I'm driving and I realise that I have to drive really fucking slowly and I've got to give them a really wide, slow berth when I overtake them. And I'm just like, it's 2021. Can you not have some sort of bridle way to fucking ride on? It's not like you're going to the shops. You're not paying road tax for your horse to be on the fucking roads, are you? So maybe don't be on the fucking roads.
Mm.
I mean, I get it. I don't live. I mean, there's lots of horses, but they're all little around here. They're not like the sort that you ride. Although they do pull those little buggies. Ooh. I was driving down the but they're really fast, and it was on a dual carriageway, so I mean I could overtake quite safely. But yeah, I don't give a fuck that they shit in the roads. But I would rather they weren't on the roads. Full stop. There should be a place for them to ride. Oh
No.
Oh no, the culling distraction's gone. Everyone's going to know.
Oh, now they know I'm not really in prison. I escaped for a moment then.
Yeah.
It's funny, your neck came back.
I did it.
Oh, yeah, so it has. Yeah, it's not invisible anymore.
Hey.
What about punishments? We've talked about crimes, haven't we?
Yeah.
What about vintage punishments that you don't hear of anymore? Because obviously, like
Blood eagle.
Are we just shouting random words?
Go right into it, so.
Furry wizard. That's my no.
A ghost.
I think it was an adequate answer to your question, Sam. It was an appropriate answer to your question. It's just Sophie got a little bit excited about the whole thing and shouted it before you'd finished the question.
No, but by all means, carry on. Explain.
No,
What the fuck is
it's
a blood
the only
eagle?
answer that I've had for this. I was actually ready for this question, and it just I couldn't hold it any longer, guys.
Go on.
Thing is, though, I don't even know how to explain it because I've only kind of like seen it through my fingers. But it I saw the aftermath and I thought it was quite cool, but quite morbid and sick. Jeeves,
can anybody, Jeeves? Can you explain what a blood eagle is?
Sorry, what? Before you do, did you just say you've only seen it through your fingers?
Yeah, you obviously know where I've seen it from.
Right, sorry, I was thinking Braille. Yeah, I'm with you now, like that, yeah. I was like, what? Do you fucking... That's me being a retard, not you. Okay, moving on. Jeeves,
Yeah,
did you want to
I've
explain...
passed the baton.
Did you want to explain the blood eagle?
So,
Or do you want me to?
So the blood eagle, if my memory serves me right, is the Viking punishment, isn't it? Where they keep the person alive. It's basically a torture to death.
Yeah.
And I think you're put onto sort of like a cross. You're nailed up with your arms up, and then you're split from the back, isn't it, down the spine?
Yeah, I think they slice down the spine.
Yeah,
and then the skin to the flaps either side of your spine.
Yeah, peel the skin off your back from that.
It's as if you're opening your back like a book kind of thing.
Yeah.
Golly gosh.
You're hung up. Is it with your arms out or up?
Yeah, your arms are out.
Out.
Like
and then
that.
You've got the flaps of skin either
pulled
side.
Out, and then your lungs are pulled from behind from the rib cage and put out.
Oh, okay. Further. I didn't remember that.
Yeah. So it goes like a flap of skin and then the lungs, and it looks like an eagle.
Well, you can't live for very long when your lungs have been pulled out, can you?
You can live long enough for you to realise what's happening, which I guess is the horror of it.
Yeah, I suppose. That's absolutely horrific. Who thinks of that shit?
But
Vikings.
I can guarantee if the punishment for not picking up your dog shit was blood eagling, you'd be like, you know what? I'm going to pick up... You'd plug the dog rather than pick up the shit. You know what I mean? It's a mean to an end, isn't it? Yeah, that's a cracking one. I like that.
That's quite crazy.
Yeah,
I mean, like medieval torture devices. I don't know if they're punishments or if it's just torture, is it? But there's some crackers. Have you seen that one where you're sitting on like a point or like on a sharp thing, and then they put like weights on your feet? Yeah, sort of.
And you just slowly splits you
up. Ooh. I mean, riding a bike when you haven't ridden one for 10 years is sore, and that's a cushy saddle. I mean, you can't imagine how bad that would be.
Yeah, and then they had the rat cage. You remember
the rat cage is a classic.
On your chest.
They place the cage on your chest with the rats in it, and then they place heated coals on top of the chest, so the only way the rats can escape is through you. Yeah.
They did that in Gone in 60 Seconds, didn't they? Fast and Furious, was it?
Too Fast, Too Furious.
Oh, God. Terrible movie.
We've still got cages. We've still got rats. You know.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's one thing that's never going away.
Except he uses a metal bucket in Too Fast, Too Furious.
But not a plastic bucket. Though. So even he saw the benefit of a metal bucket over a plastic one. Interesting.
A little throwback to last week's episode there for all the listeners.
Have you ever heard of the dunking chair?
Yeah, that's an old witch one, isn't it?
To do with witchcraft, yeah?
No, actually, it wasn't to do with witchcraft. It was actually classed as a light punishment. But it actually ended up where people were actually dying from it. And what it was basically, it was a chair attached to a long pole with a pivot point. and they would tie the person to the chair, and then dunk them in water, leave them for like 30 seconds, and pull them back out. If they don't repent their crime, then they go back in, and they keep doing it until the person repents the crime or whatever. That's where sort of some of the witch things came from, was from that. But they ended up stopping it because they ended up killing people with it for dunking them for too long and stuff like that. But the worst thing about it was you was going in backwards because you was facing everyone.
Oh god, it'd be like waterboarding.
Yeah, that's basically what it was like.
It doesn't strike me as a very fair legal system either. Basically, right, we'll strap you in this chair. We need a confession out of him. Oh, how are we going to get that? Well, we'll just keep dunking him in water for 30 seconds at a time. He'll either die or confess. Perfect.
Surprisingly, though, it was mostly used on women.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was a witch thing.
Right?
Because I have heard of that.
And apparently, if my memory serves me right, one of the reasons for this punishment was if the woman spoke too much.
Oh my god, I looked something up the other day.
Sophie was fucked, wasn't she?
I'll start practicing
called?
holding my breath now, shall I?
So if you would have been dunked that many times, you'll end up with gills.
Yeah.
I'm from the Isle of Wight. I've probably got them anyway.
Evolve, yeah.
Just webbed feet, isn't it? No, sorry. Look, Jeeves, off the back of what was that chair called? The dunking chair.
Dunking chair or something like that.
Yeah, you see, that reminded me of something called, I had to Google it, unfortunately, because it's the Scold's Bridle, which is also sometimes called the Witch's Bridle. This is brilliant. It's so cruel and evil. But what it is, okay, Sophie, this would have been your future in the 14 or 1500s, okay? So you get this big cage that goes over your head, and you get this, like, metal mouthpiece, yeah, okay, and it's got a bell on the top. This is so fucking harsh, man. The world was so fucked up. They used to put it on only women. They'd be made to walk around town with this bridle thing. It's like a horse thing, isn't it? That the piece that they put in their mouth to keep control. Yeah, but they only used
it holds the tongue down.
Yeah. So it stops them talking, and there's a bell on top of it, so it draws attention, so everybody can laugh and be like, you got a bridle on. But they used to do it for women who are usually like widows, but gossips, but like shit-stirring gossip women would end up with these fucking cages put on their fucking heads with bells on them. I mean, what the fuck? It
wasn't just for women either. There was actually a bloke that had it put on that many times. He actually had his name engraved on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How long a period would these people have to wear them for?
Oh, not long. It was like a few hours, but it would be a public thing. So they would be made to get up dressed and then paraded through town wearing one of these witches' bridles.
I think some of them were actually days.
Oh, well, it wouldn't surprise me. People fuck everything up for that's probably why they're not allowed anymore, Mushu. Not Mushu, Jesus. Yeah. But could you imagine that?
No.
You've got, like,
they're in the Ann Summers section now.
Yeah.
They're not made of cast iron. They're all fluffy.
But this is the thing, though, that we seem to be lacking these days is imagination. Like, because back then, tarring and feathering actually used to be a thing, a genuine punishment. Slather you down with hot tar and then dunk you in a massive pit full of feathers or whatever.
And then get eaten by a horse.
For all intents and purposes, you'd forever be looking over your shoulder, wouldn't you? You know, is there a horse nearby?
What did you have to do to get tar and feathered? What would be like? Do you have any idea?
I don't think it was anything too serious. You know, like, it wasn't a punishment for murder. I think it was more
generally being a Mushu.
I think it was for general sort of drunkenness, maybe, that sort of thing.
Holy fuck!
Back then, they probably had their own offences, like public buffoonery or something like that. You know?
Public buffoonery.
Yeah, or something like that. Scallywaggism.
Scallywaggism, my lord.
But there was another one that I thought of while you were going on about the Scold Bridle. There used to be a collar that they'd put on people.
Yeah.
And it was a metal collar.
Yeah.
And the inside of the collar was really sharp serrated spikes. Yeah. And then coming out of these collars was just 4 long iron bars, probably about 4 foot in length.
Oh my God.
And they'd put you in a room with that on. And the idea was that you'd have to just remain upright, because as soon as you went down, the bars would touch and push the spikes into your neck. So you can fuck sleeping off for a start. You know, like if you drop anything, you're fucked. You know, that's staying on the floor unless you've got nimble feet. But
do you imagine if you tripped over? Oh shit, died, didn't he? Fuck.
oh, bollocks.
Oh, ridiculous.
That'd be Andy's luck.
It really would. Yeah.
Yeah, just stumbling around for drunken
Drop your Domino's
buffoonery.
sauce.
Yeah. Don't talk about
that's
the sauces
awful.
too soon.
But I found that Scold's Bridle when I was looking up. What was it called? It was from a Stephen King book. I think it's called The Tramp's Chair.
Right.
Have you heard of that before?
No.
Well, it was mentioned in one of his books. I think it might have been one of his short stories, possibly Stand By Me or something like that. And now a tramp's chair, it's fallen out of fashion, believe it or not. And when I read it in the book, I thought it was just a big wooden chair with straps that you put your hands on, and then it just had like bolts sticking up, so you could sit on it for a couple of minutes and it'd be absolutely fine. But then I Googled it, and it turns out I was totally wrong. So imagine a shit uncomfortable looking metal chair, sort of this shape. Yeah. And then on top of it, you've got the exact same thing coming back the exact same way. So it's just a metal chair shaped cage.
Yeah.
And you would get strapped into that for usually a day, but sometimes longer. And the only reason it was really used was to stop vagrants. So a tramp would come, that's why it's called the tramp chair. So if you were a tramp, they would strap you in this chair and it would discourage you from coming into that town. But because it was made of solid metal and you were left outside of the elements, it would, they'd strip you naked as well. Just to add insult to injury. I mean, you're already a fucking homeless, and take away your clothes and strap you in a chair-shaped cage.
Not an insult, mate. It's free advertising.
Yeah, well, it's not free advertising when it's 100 degrees outside and this metal scalding you and you've got like no water. But yeah, you can't move in it because obviously like sitting in a chair is all lovely, but you can stretch your legs out. I mean, I'm doing that off camera so you can't see nothing, and you can move your arms. But yeah, you imagine how awful that would be just for passing through. I mean, Rambo had it bad. He got taken into prison for trying to get a meal, and then they hosed him down and drew blood, and he went mental. But I mean, it's just
yeah, that is quite shit. But then we still have moderately draconian methods for dispersing homeless people anyway these days. I mean, I don't know if you've seen homeless spikes, but they're possibly one of the most despicable things that I've ever seen in my life. It's like you're taking a space that's literally useless to anyone but a homeless person who's just after a bit of shelter, and you're making it inaccessible to them at taxpayers' money for no benefit, literally no benefit other than to not see a homeless person in that area. It's fucking disgusting.
I completely agree. It's like what they do on benches as well, where they put those barriers up. So you think it's so they like, oh look, you can fit 4 people on there, but in reality, it's to stop people laying down. It's just like, you horrible fuckers. I mean, I used to live in the centre of Southampton, right, literally in the centre of Southampton, and at one point we did have quite a problem with hobos sleeping on our doorstep. And I, as a rule, didn't really have a problem with it. They were always pretty cool about, moving out the way so you could get in. But we did once have this guy who genuinely smelt like death. And he smelt so... It had this huge, great, like, church-style oak door. It's probably 12 inches wide. Yeah, I mean, it was like a proper big, heavy door. And his smell of death leaked into the main building. It was so unbelievably bad. But... he's also fucking homeless, and we're going into homes. I mean, so I, again, didn't really have a problem with it. I'd sometimes give him a bottle of water when I was going past. But one of my horrible neighbours...
deodorant, then?
No.
Bottle of water over the head.
Yeah. No, I wasn't that mean. I appreciate some people are down on their luck. Some people just like drugs a bit too much. which I think was probably his problem.
They are very Moorish.
Yeah, I've heard that is the case. But yeah, one of my neighbours, and I don't know if this was inspired or it's just really fucking mean, poured bleach all over the stairs, which admittedly got rid of the smell instantly. But the girl I was seeing at the time, her trousers used to go down below her ankles, and she was wearing black work trousers and didn't know that there was bleach all over them. And then the next day puts her trousers on and they'd bleached like all the way up her calf muscle just because some dickhead had poured bleach all over the fucking stairs.
Got free wicked flame effect on her trousers.
Oh yeah, she didn't say it that way. She was not happy. I just laughed. I was like, oh fucking hell, better get you some new trousers then, don't we? But yeah, I'm with you, Mushu. Those homeless spikes, it's ridiculous. It's just cruel and unusual. But pigeon spikes, on the other hand, totally on board with.
What I like about pigeon spikes is pigeons are quite capable of just fucking ignoring them. Like you walk around London,
give a fuck.
And a lot of the pigeons are just sat amongst them still. Like, but a lot of pigeons don't know that. So they do work for like 50% of the pigeons, which are like, oh, look, that's all spiky. And then the other half are just like, dickhead, they're actually all right.
Yeah. I don't think they're as effective because when I first saw pigeon spikes, I was like, yikes, that's harsh. Expecting to see pigeons land on them and literally get impaled.
Like, impaled,
it's nothing of the sort. They just sort of land and like, oh, you poked me in the bum. And just fly off and go somewhere else.
Yeah. So this seems like a perfect this versus this, doesn't it? Like here, while we're talking about draconian punishments from yesteryear and stuff like that. Why don't we have a punishment off? I mean, I know which one I'd prefer straight away.
I don't.
I think I'd rather neither, to be honest.
Yeah. I don't want to be peeled, and I don't want to have rats burrow through me. So they're both horrific.
Yeah,
I don't do well with heat either, so I'd struggle with the rats and the heat.
Okay, so a scenario then. Here we are. We've all been caught. We've been up to some hideous buffoonery. And we've been sentenced to death by one
I'm
of these
angelic,
two
so
ways.
this is totally unrealistic.
Well, but with the way you're interrupting Mushu, you're going to have a fucking witch's bridal put on in a minute. So
there we go, problem solved.
Or end up in the Duncan chair.
Or in the Duncan chair, yeah.
I'll do two at once, shall I?
Yeah, so there we are. We've been caught. We're facing one of these two punishments, and in their infinite wisdom, they've let us choose. Which one are you going for?
Well, Sophie, do you want to be peeled or do you want to have rats eat you? I mean,
I think,
my God.
I'm
going to go for the rats.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
I
can't
think I'll go
imagine
Blood
being...
Eagle.
Really?
I think I'd probably go Blood Eagle because then at least my corpse is food for animals.
So's the rats one.
And now they're just digging to get away from the heat, aren't they? They're digging to escape, not to eat.
Oh, any idea how long the rat one takes?
I don't think it's a fast process.
Neither's getting peeled.
No.
But from what you were saying,
how quick the peeler is.
Well, I would go for the Blood
practiced.
Eagle, right? For one reason, because it's not Victorian at all. Viking. It's a Viking punishment, right?
Yeah.
So they're not going to have scalpels, are they? So in theory, they're going to be doing this surgery with some form of sword or battle axe or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So hopefully they'd be a bit clumsy with it and just nick the old spinal cord while they're making the first cut, and then you don't feel any of it, and then you're just ahead, and you can actually admire the work as well. You'd be like, "Ooh,
have you got a mirror?
Wingspan, isn't it? Yeah." Like, anyway, I'm off. Yeah.
Thing is,
yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
I'm with you. It's
That's
probably a
my
better
thinking.
choice. The idea of rats eating through me now, for some reason, when I said rats originally, I was just like, I'm not going to die. It'll hurt a little bit, but they'll take it off
they
eventually.
keep going.
He talks to the animals. Just like, hey guys, what are you doing? Stop that! It hurts. Yeah. No, it's actually quite horrific if you think about it, because without being too graphic, you know, they would get into your intestines and stuff like that. So you'd have all sorts of stuff spilling out as well, whilst you'd technically still be alive watching it all.
It's not going to be quick at all, is it? It's going to be really, really slow.
Yeah, and horrible and smelly, I would imagine.
Yeah, and now I'm with you.
You can see it happening in front of you as well, because obviously it's there.
Yeah,
so
and I suppose the blood eagle's behind you.
Yeah.
And plus, when your body's discovered, you know, you've got a choice of reactions. You've got, like with the rats, it'd be like, oh fuck me, or it'd be like, whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go for the second.
Like your face and everything will still be recognisable.
Yeah, you probably end up in a textbook.
People will know. Yeah. Somebody might draw a diagram.
I'll go for blood eagle as well. Jude?
I said blood eagle.
Yeah,
he was along that all along. He was straight in there. Oh, give me a bit of blood eagle.
Well, you had a compelling case that they probably accidentally nick your spinal cord, and hopefully you wouldn't feel fuck all. But yeah, I presume it would be quicker.
Yeah, that's what I went for.
Yeah, I don't know how long it would take a rat to eat his way through me, and I mean, there's a bit of a distance to go to get through me as well.
Yeah, I'd have to fight the rats off. I'd be right there, like, get off, that's good meat.
It wasn't a punishment for a crime, but it's what the Vietnamese used to do, and it was the rats that reminded me, because of it being a slower one, was they would plant bamboo seeds.
Oh yeah,
and then chain American soldiers to the ground and have the bamboo grow through them.
Yeah, I saw that on Mythbusters. That is fucking
Is that legit?
heinous.
Is it?
Yeah, it's legit, and that shit grows so fast. I mean, it's not like a day, but a week, and there's bamboo in you.
I don't think I'd like that.
I know, I don't either.
No, but then, I mean, bamboo's so versatile when it comes to torture, isn't it? I mean, like the old whipping the bottom of your feet with a bamboo stick. And all that. Oh, fuck that. I don't know what you've got to do to deserve that, but blood eagle me any day. Don't
blood eagle over a whipped foot.
Oh, yeah. No. Thanks, but no thanks.
Honestly, you are right, though. People were more creative back in the day, weren't they?
Totally.
Way more creative.
Totally, for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, did you hear about the guy that was sentenced to death, and he was sentenced to death by hanging? And they brought him out. They've put the noose around his neck and everything like that, stood him there, pulled the lever, the door didn't move. So they've taken him away. They've checked everything, tried it. Yeah, the door's all working. They've brought him back out, put him back, pull the handle, door doesn't open. So they take him away, right, and they try it for the third time, and it fails again. After that third time, they can't do it anymore, because that was their law. You're only allowed 3 attempts to hang the man, otherwise he was considered innocent in God's eyes. And I think he's one of the very few that ever survived it for that clause.
I mean, I don't actually have a big problem with that. I actually think fair play.
Yeah.
It's like when someone gets electrocuted, surely if they got electrocuted, they died, but there's some miraculous reason their hearts restarted, surely they should be let off. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the premise of Nikita, the old movie. She got sentenced to death, didn't they? No?
I don't know. No. If you've got someone
how Jon Snow got out of the watch.
Yeah, very true. But if you've got someone like fucking that woman they've just a week ago they've executed
yes,
last
I was going to bring her up.
Death row inmate or something.
The first female death row inmate to be killed for 50 or 60 years.
Yeah, and Trump shoveled it through as fast as he could before his administration was over, didn't he?
Yes.
Yeah.
You hear what she did, though?
Yeah, and that's my point exactly. If you guys don't know, she befriended a middle-aged pregnant woman, or a young pregnant woman, wasn't it? She was middle-aged.
Pregnant woman, she was middle-aged.
Yeah. She befriended her, went over to her house, murdered her, cut her open, and kidnapped the baby. Took the baby in with her, right?
That's like pre-cradle snatcher, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I don't think you quite understand what a cradle snatcher is, but we'll cover that in another episode, I think.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so there you go. That proves my point. There you have a horrific crime, yeah, and there've been you've got the pro-lifers sort of arguing that it was she's mentally ill, and it's all a product of abuse and stuff like that. But whatever. But are you saying that she should be allowed off her sentence if she survived the death row? With the
No, you raise it again. You raise a very valid point.
Or do they just get their death sentence revoked and revert to a life sentence?
No, I think with what Jeeves said, if they tried to do it to you 3 times, that thinking you were going to die 3 times in a row, that I can kind of understand that you have the death sentence taken away and you probably end up finishing your time in prison.
You'd probably only think you were going to die twice, though, wouldn't you? The third time, you'd be pretty cocky about it. You'd be like, fuck, do your worst. Go on. Third time lucky, hey. Oh, no, is it broken again?
I mean, like, you'd have shit yourself a couple of times already, wouldn't you?
Well,
See,
yeah.
I reckon if the story that Jeeves said, I reckon if that was a female, she would have got accused of witchcraft.
And then burnt, yeah.
Well, yeah, that's obvious.
So guarantee if that was a woman, she would have died regardless.
We'll just have to burn her instead.
Yeah.
And then she doesn't burn. It's like, oh, fuck. We might have.
But Sophie, you raised an interesting point there, though. That obviously back in the day, they were killing off women, witches, whatever you want to call them, left, right, and centre. It was just like anything. It's witchcraft, burn the bitch. But that woman that you mentioned, Mushu, that's the first person to be executed the first woman to be executed in the last 60 years. Now, I know that there's been no death penalties carried out for the last decade in America because of legal reasons. I'm not entirely sure what they are. But that's kind of, I mean, all the talk of equality in the world, there are women out there committing super heinous crimes, but they're not getting the death penalty handed to them quite as regularly as blokes, are they?
No.
Where do you guys stand on the death penalty? Are you pro it or not pro it?
No, I'm against it.
You're against it?
I think death penalty should be in place.
Yeah. What about you, Jeeves? You're quiet down there.
I'm for the death penalty, but it has to be without
a shadow of a doubt. Like there's like video evidence of you actually doing the bloody crime, then yeah. Because why should we waste taxpayers' money on you sitting in a cell for the rest of your life? Well, I don't care so much about the taxpayers' money. That's always an argument people use. I mean, the prisons aren't that expensive, and a lot of private businesses own prisons out in America anyway, so it doesn't cost the taxpayer a huge amount of money. But I do think that I'm pro it. I think certain people just need putting down. But we're all pro it. I want to hear from you, Mushu. You're the one who's not pro it. And you're the only man of the law.
I personally think, I mean, Jesus did raise a fairly good point in the fact that mistaken identities and stuff like that, in the case of a mistaken conviction, I mean, it's basically state-endorsed murder then. But that's not my main point. My main point is the fact that life in prison, for me, would be less enjoyable. It would be more of a punishment, having to spend every day in the same 4 walls. Now, this is with I don't think prison here is particularly deterrent enough, but I think life in prison should mean you spend every single waking hour of your life, the rest of your life, in the same 4 walls. You don't get your fucking exercise. Oh, sorry, but if that goes against your human rights, fuck off. But that's what I think personally. I think killing them, I just don't think it achieves much apart from getting it over and done with.
You haven't sold me on that.
No.
With Jeeves, if the evidence is 100% concrete, I mean, if there's any kind of doubt, then no.
Yeah.
But then I think that everyone serves a purpose as well. You know, like criminologists can gain so much information, like from just studying people. You know, Take these people that should have been on the death row, stick them in a really secure research facility, and fucking study them like lab rats. Treat them like lab rats. Fucking use them for experiments, stuff like that. Like, you got a new vaccine we need to try. Use it on them. Just put them basically as below animal status in society for the rest of their life. That'd do.
Well,
I
don't
do agree
hate
with something
that.
you said there, Andy. Though I do agree. If you commit the offence, you forfeit your human rights. If you've committed murder, you've taken that person's human rights. Why should you get to keep yours?
Yeah. Effectively, you have no respect for anyone else's rights, so why should anyone respect yours? You know.
Yeah.
Can I quickly ask? Can you clear something up on me on the legal? So, murder is with intent, right?
Yes.
So, somebody was to say kill your kid, and then you went and killed them. And it was a revenge murder. Is that the same sort of murder as in the person who previously killed your kid? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's still murder because you've set out with the intention of causing this person's death. So yeah. It's a murder nonetheless. Now, in France, I don't know if it's still going, but I know that up until very recently they had a law, I can't remember the name of it, but it basically translated to a crime of passion.
Yes.
Being French.
Passionate people.
It was a case of if a woman got caught after killing her husband, and it came up that in court that the husband was having an affair or blackmailing her or something like that, or vice versa, they would invoke this thing about the crime of passion, and her sentence would be drastically reduced because they say that she was emotionally pressured into committing that crime.
Yeah.
Had she not been in that situation, she wouldn't have committed that crime.
No, fair enough. No, I stand by it. I am pro the death penalty, but again, I do need it to be concrete. It has to, and it can't just be. I'm not just like a murderer.
No,
you know, the crimes of passion and all of that. That I don't think that's death worthy. But yeah,
I just think in a perfect world, there are things worse than death, and I think death is literally too good for some people. Like some offences I've read about, some offences I've seen, you know, some things I've been involved in. The people that were responsible for them, I wouldn't ever want them to die because I would want them to live for as long as possible in unimaginable suffering, because that's the kind of guy I am.
But unimaginable suffering. So let's. I don't. You know that was it Lee Rigby, that poor fucking soldier guy.
Yeah.
So his killer is now they're talking mental health shit with him now, aren't they? I mean, I know they said he said Ali Akbar and he did all of that horrible terroristy shit before doing it. But that was a total cunt move. And again, with him, I have no problem with that. I'd be like, just get over and done with, just be off of him. But you'd rather him stay in a box for 40. He was a young man, wasn't he? Probably more like 60 years.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think life should mean life.
Yeah, because life doesn't mean life. Life means about 20, doesn't it?
20 odd years.
24 years, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean,
24, is it?
I think life should mean life. So these people, you know, and when I was growing up, it was Jamie Bolger.
Yes, I remember that. God, that was horrible.
Possibly, to this date, the most disturbing crime I've ever really looked into.
Oh, yeah, that was so sad. I think I was like 9 when that happened.
Mushu? I don't even like talking about it, to be honest. Basically, it was a toddler that got separated from his parents in a shopping centre and was abducted by a couple of 11-year-old boys.
No, I know the one you're on about.
Yeah. They blamed Chucky movies, didn't they?
Now, they can blame what the fuck they want there. As far as I'm concerned, you're not fit. Everyone's in this same world. Everyone's exposed to similar stuff, you know, like film-wise, game-wise, everything like that. Obviously, personal situations differ, but there is no excuse for doing something like that.
Oh, that's so horrible.
But even then, I wouldn't want them dead. I think they should, there and then, have been sentenced to life in prison. So you will die in this room. This room is where this is your life now from now on. So for
they got out, didn't they?
Yeah, they've got.
And one of them went back in because they found like kiddie porn or something like that on his computer. I mean, for me, game over. You're just broken. I don't see the point of keeping them in prison. I've just say get them done. Get it over and done with.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, you're probably swaying me more to your side of the argument, but I just don't agree that taking someone's life is ever going to be really achieve anything, apart from maybe the victims' families might feel better.
I would feel better if I was Jamie Bolger's parents.
Yeah.
Because I also remember seeing in one of the newspapers, back when newspapers was still a thing, they showed the cells that they had. They had like TVs and radios and games consoles and VHS players. I mean, it's that old. VHS, Sophie. Any idea what that is?
I do. I remember I used to have one when I was a little girl. Very, very little.
Wow. Yeah, well, they had all of that in their cells, and then they got out, and then they repeat offended, and they're back inside prison again. I'm just like, you're fucking broken, man. There ain't no fixing it.
Do you know what? I might have to have a moan here.
Go for
Here
it.
we go. Here's the
Here
new
we go.
feature.
Drum roll, please.
I was thinking about this, and I don't really have a lot to moan about where the crime and punishment, because I've spent a lot of time in the system in one way or another, and whatever. Nothing really surprises me anymore. But one thing that does piss me off is the prison system today is just like, it's going so wrong. It's so wrong. Like, you've got two routes you can go down when you set up a prison, right? You can go down rehabilitation, or you can go down punishment. Yeah, it's pretty much what we've been talking about all night.
Yeah,
we've sort of not bothered making a decision and gone down the middle. We'll have a bit of punishment, a bit of rehabilitation. So what we've got is a place where we lock all our criminals. Fair enough, they can't get out, but they're sort of half, oh, you're a naughty boy, and then half like, here's a PlayStation, we've got to keep you happy, haven't we? Because otherwise you're just going to go out worse. And both things have been proven to work, yeah, but they will never work while you're trying to do them alongside each other. Yeah. Rehabilitation is great. I am all for rehabilitation in certain places. There's a prison in Norway.
I was just about to say that.
Yeah, it's got something like a 70% rehabilitation rate of like,
wow,
not offenders will never offend again, and that's because you go in. It's a maximum security prison as well. You go in there, so there's murderers, there's rapists, there's all these people. They've got a supermarket, they've got gyms, they've got a full university in there. Like, they've got university lecturers that go in. The guards will go in and just sit with them in coffee rooms and chat. It's like a hotel, but right. And all the critics will be like, "What the fuck are you doing sending murderers there?" Yeah, but while they're in there, while these prisoners are in there, they do their jobs. They all get given a credit card when they go in. They do their jobs. At the end of the day, they get their card swiped. They get credits put on that, which they can then go and spend in the supermarket.
Yeah.
And then this guy that was investigating it said, why don't you just nick why don't you steal from the supermarket, right? Which is all staffed by prisoners as well. And the guy's like, no, we don't staff we don't nick from the supermarket, because then you get put in the hole, right? Ooh. And this is where the prison bit comes in. The hole is a fucking horrible, semi-open to the elements cell, like, that's dug right down into this massive fucking deep crater thing in the prison. So it's freezing cold. If it's snowing, which it normally is, you get snow all up the things. You get shitty blankets, and you get in there and you get fuck all. And that's it. You're in this tiny little room for however long they deem to put you in there.
Wow.
And that is that's the perfect combination. You're offering rehabilitation. Look, you fucked up, but here is the glorious light at the end of the tunnel. Oh, you fucked up again, right in the hole. And that's how you get things done. And this prison's managed to do that. But our country is so fucking, they can't make a decision on things. You've got the people, the bleeding hearts all on one side, like, oh no, everyone needs comfort, human rights, everyone has to be able to pray in the right way, everyone has to have the right diet, everyone has to be able to do this or that or whatever, versus the people that are just like, bring back the death penalty, cut their balls off, eye for an eye and all that. And no one can make an actual decision on how our prisons should be run. And if they just fucking made up their mind, for a start, we'd have a lot less crime one way or the other, I believe.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on that. I had no idea about the that place. Yeah.
I'll look it up. I'll
Actually,
look it
sounds
up
like
and
an
I'll find
effective
it.
way.
But
Cool.
they have like proper beds and everything like that. They have communal kitchens and stuff. It is
They're-
literally like a little village, isn't it?
Yeah, their cell. You walk into the cell, and it's literally they've got like a bed with a TV built into the wall at the end of the bed, a little shower cubicle room, and then a writing desk and stuff like that. It's just really nice little rooms. And what got me was they walked into this maximum security wing, and the guards walked in, and there's a female guard in there, just sat on her own with 3 male prisoners, and they're all just sitting there having coffee on these sofas, like sat around the thing. But she's there on her own, and granted she's in prison, but these are 3 high security prisoners, murderers, rapists, that sort of thing. And she was quite small, and she wasn't bad looking, I have to say. But she's comfortable being in that position because everyone's got that level of respect for each other, where they're like, everyone knows their place, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I just think I should be in charge, really.
Well, fair enough. I feel like there definitely needs to be a reform. Like, how many people are in prison for non-violent drug offences? I mean, if somebody wants to get high, they should be allowed to just get fucking high.
Oh, legalise it and tax it, for fuck's sake. You know, it's not rocket science, is it? If it's taxed, it brings money into the economy. You never get stoners causing trouble, really. Apart from maybe nicking a Mars bar from the local service station, but they're certainly not out fucking causing fights, throwing shit through windows and stuff like that. They just want to be left alone.
Did you see Russell Brand did a thing on this a little while ago? Because somewhere in Europe they've got real good drug rehabilitation programs. Instead of locking people in prison, they actually try and help them. You know, they've got safe spaces for them to take their methadone or whatever it is. And, as opposed to saying you've got to go to cold turkey or you've got to go into prison for taking these drugs. They actually, as you say, try and rehabilitate them. And it's so much more effective, because usually you find that people go into prison for one thing and all they can find is like smack or spice or something that's even worse, and they just get hooked up on that. That shouldn't be... I don't think people should be put in a cage for, taking drugs.
I say it seems to be the government's favourite thing to control things anyway. So you'd have thought they'd just make it legal so they could control it.
It's such a massive revenue stream. I'm really surprised there haven't been talks of going that way, because America, I can't believe America is more progressive than anywhere. But like, how many of their states is it now legal?
Quite a few now, yeah.
Fucking shitloads. I mean,
because it's having a positive effect on the economy. That's why.
Yeah, massively positive, but it would have just as much. There isn't a day go by. So I was delivering parcels today in a really, really nice area, like a really nice area. And one house I could smell bacon, the next house I could smell weed. And that was the whole way down. I was just like, this is so confusing. It's like 8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. I was just like, I'm hungry and I'm salivating. I just don't know what's going on here. And it's just like, if people want to do it, I just say, let them fucking do it, man. It's they could utilise, and the country is not. It's foolish. Where do you stand, Jeeves? Because I know you're, clean living, no chocolate, hates drugs. What are your thoughts?
I think they should make it legal.
Yeah?
Yeah. You get more incidents from alcohol than you do drugs. And the only reason you get most of your drug stuff now is because it is illegal.
Should specify weed, like cannabis and that sort of thing.
Weed.
Obviously, cocaine causes a fucking nightmare, but...
not sniffing, Andy's crack. But... yeah, like making that sort of stuff legal, wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, I personally would never do it, but...
And then you've got the health benefits. And I know that they may be outweighed by the negative health impact, but, cannabis does have pain-killing abilities. I don't know if you've seen the videos of Parkinson's.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
And the effect that it has on people with Parkinson's, it almost completely shuts down their shudders.
Yeah.
It's quite impressive.
It's unbelievable. I watched one with this old man, and they put like a drop of this stuff. I think it was like pure CBD oil.
CBD oil, yeah.
Yeah, CBD is amazing. I take that I don't take it regularly because I haven't got any, but I've taken it over
Just
the
before
years.
he's raided.
Yeah,
there's definitely none here.
No, it's totally legal. And like in America, you can buy specially bred weed that has got no THC in it, but it's still got the taste and the smell, so you can go through the ritual if that's your thing. Because I remember that was what I missed the most when I stopped smoking weed. Is I missed making a joint and sitting and enjoying one.
Yeah,
that was all part of the process for me. But it's just CBD enriched.
Yeah,
and
so you don't end up getting
it.
stoned. You end up just feeling better in terms of.
It's so good for anxiety, and I used
like
it.
placebo.
Well, it's not, because you're still getting the chemicals. It's like the THC is the hallucinogenic, the sort of the fun chemical, so to speak, the giggly one. And then the CBD is like the calming one, and the sort of restorative one. So the more
it's
CBD
so good
there
for muscle.
is, the better you'll feel after it. It's great. Yeah, see, pure CBD oil is great if you work a manual labour job or something like that. Fucking drop of that, mate. You're like He-Man.
It's amazing. I've hurt my back before, just through straining it from I'm a fat fuck and I deliver parcels. Getting in and out of the van, and I've taken CBD, and it's not an instant thing. It's not snake oil.
No.
It takes a little bit, but I've slept better from it. So like all the back pain has just dissipated. It's so good. I can't recommend it enough to people. If you've got anxiety,
Sophie, you know how fucked up your bones are.
Give it a go. You can buy it.
A lot of my problems with my bones is from fighting over the years, so I'm just a little bit fragile in my old age. I just need to take a few extra vitamins.
That's it. Make CBD one of them.
Drink some more milk.
You need more milk.
So you should try it. Genuinely, it doesn't get you high. It just it's amazing. It's so good for anxiety.
Back when I did fight, quite a few of my friends that I used to train with, they did do like quite a lot of research into cannabis oil and all of its benefits, because it is quite a big thing in the jiu-jitsu community. It's got loads of health benefits. Is
it allowed or not, or is it forbidden?
Forbidden. I love that word. Is it the forbidden fruit?
No, it's fine. There are a few competitions, like the higher competitions, that do drugs tests and things, but they're like well up here.
But CBD is completely illegal, though, isn't it? It's the THC that if you were getting tested would be a problem. But you are right in UFC, because I used to listen to a lot of Rogan before he fucked off to Spotify. He loves weed, obviously. He's always banging on about it, but a lot of his fighter mates all do it as well. Yeah. I think the benefits definitely outweigh the negative aspects of it.
Almost to the point where it's ridiculous, like why they haven't.
There's loads of health benefits to it.
I remember when was Labour still in power? Was it like 15 years ago or something? It would have been Tony Blair's reign. Number 21, so like 16, 17 years ago, he had some health scientists. They were talking about the classifications, weren't they? And they wanted to have it downgraded to C class. And they had all these medical experts say, "Oh yeah, you should definitely do that." And then they didn't do it. I was just like, "You fuck it! What is the point? How many millions did you waste on that study to just not do it?"
But then bringing it back around to the crime and punishment theme. Think about the impact that it would have on the cartels and these criminal networks that entirely fund themselves from marijuana production and stuff like that. Suddenly it's legitimized. They've got a choice. They either turn into a legitimate company, start paying their fucking taxes and shit like that, or find a different drug to peddle. Yeah. So automatically it would cut down on that side of shit as well.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. It would put a lot of people out of business, but there's no reason why they couldn't go legit. How difficult would it be if they've got all these thousands of pounds squirreled away?
If you got it, if anything, it makes more sense. Rather than paying all the street dealers and giving them their cut, just open a store, pay some staff.
Give them a proper job.
Yeah, exactly. Give it to the homeless people.
I can't see a bad thing about legalising it at all. I think if there's one thing you should take from this podcast is that witches' bridals should be brought back.
Well,
sorry. I mean,
think
legalise and utilise.
As far as viewer input goes, I'd love to hear as much as possible on anyone's opinions on anything that we've talked about, because there's so much, and you could talk about it for ages thinking about it now. So yeah, anything, any punishments as well that we haven't heard about or anything like that, please stick them in the comments, because I love reading that shit.
Yeah.
Even better if you can find a video.
Yeah.
Stick it in the comments.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have that ability now that we can actually share your videos.
Woo!
Yeah, try nothing off of Pornhub though, if possible.
Damn it.
Send that to Sam privately.
No, I'll find it myself. Should we think about drawing this to a close? I don't know what the time is, but it feels like we could go for ages.
I feel like I could rabbit
9:30.
on for a lot longer about this, but I think it might be worthwhile.
Should we save it for
drawing
another episode?
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come back up, won't it? Always does.
Yeah, of course. So in the meantime, obviously, please, if you've made it this far, like, subscribe, follow, everything like that. On any social media that you find us on, we're pretty much on everything now.
Can I add, if you're listening to it and not watching it, could you give us a star rating and a comment? I mean, that really helps, because it puts it out there for other people to see, or not see, as it would be. It would be listen. Yeah, but you're our advertising, so do your fucking jobs, yeah? Is that a bit too violent? That should be a fucking crime.
Dunking chair for you.
Yeah, the homo chair. No, the vacant chair. I don't know what it's called.
Dear. Well, yeah, like us, follow us, check us out on check out the merch and everything like that on pacifistpodcast.com as well. Do go and have a look over there, get involved in the forums.
Yeah. Check it out, because there'll be a sneaky announcement as to what's coming in next week's episode, I think, on that one, won't there, Mushu?
There may well be, mate.
Yeah. For all your up-to-date news on the Pacifist Podcast, check out pacifistpodcast.com.
Right? Yes, that is right, Sam. Well, it would sound so much better if you didn't have to say, "Was that right?" after every time you say it.
I haven't said it in like a month. I wasn't sure if it's literally just, or is it just Pacifist Podcast?
Right, so let's draw it to a close then. Thanks a lot for coming. We'll see you next time then. Toodle.
Cheerio.
Bye.